Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Erickson TV. Curtis here with Lauren. Hello Lauren.
Hey everybody.
Hey Lauren, I understand we're going to talk a little bit about some positive optimism for the future.
Right. So one of my favorite topics, optimism, and this time I'm going to use something that one of the people that you and I both read a lot, Nick Murray, has been talking about forever and ever, and I only just recently figured out what in the heck he was talking about. He has been talking a lot about one of the main reasons he has such economic optimism for the future is 3D printing, which he says is going to revolutionize this and revolutionize that and all this other stuff. And for the longest time, I just could not figure out what Nick Murray was talking about. Because when he talked about 3D printing, like I was thinking of, you know, like in the Star Wars movies when they have holograms?
Right.
Or whatever,
Maybe even to the extent of like three-dimensional animation.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I thought that's what 3D printing was. Then some of my friends, you know, started posting on Facebook this stuff about how somebody had, and this is not necessarily one of the positive aspects, but somebody had figured out how to 3D print a gun.
Okay.
Which was, we know, a pretty strange. And then I thought, wait a minute. You mean 3D printing makes stuff? Like, you know, actual things? Like, this isn't just a new advertising method? That's what I thought it was at first.
Right.
It was a new advertising method. So then, one of my friends posted a video of a newer, more advanced 3D printer that had 3D printed a violin.
Ah.
It had printed a violin, and the person was playing it. You know, it just sounded
so
gorgeous.
It's an actual working violin.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it sounds like a Stradivarius. Like, it sounds absolutely lovely.
So is a 3D printer basically duplicating an existing
yeah,
design?
what 3D printing really is that, see, printing is what gets me screwed up because I think in terms of images.
Right.
What 3D printing is it's like it's additive manufacturing instead of what we're now starting to call subtractive manufacturing.
Okay.
In other words, it doesn't build things by taking some raw stuff and then chipping away at it.
Right.
Right? Okay. It builds stuff by layer, and it can lay things down to micrometers, you know,
Wow.
like centimeter, much smaller than centimeters. Laying things down layer by layer by layer, and then it builds the actual thing. And of course, to get a 3D printer now that could print a violin that actually functions.
We're talking about a lot of money.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Right now, this is beyond anybody's. What 3D printers can print right now that, you know, like a regular person could use in the home would be like, you know, really simple stuff, knickknacks pretty much,
Okay.
or tools, like they can print tools, but that's about it. It has to be, you know, for the stuff that you or I could afford, it has to be something where it's all the same substance, basically.
Right.
You know, there's not a bunch of different like actual substances that you use.
Right, no, I understand. So,
but you know, in the future, I mean, the way technology progresses, in the future, I mean, the fascinating thing about 3D printing is that, you know, you just download the schematics off the internet or whatever,
right.
and then you can print pretty much anything that you might need to use. But it really gets crazy when you realize that someday they can print food. You know, like in Star Trek, when you were watching that thing and it printed out the meals for them, or it
Right.
sort of zapped the meals, and you thought, well, this is never going to happen. I mean, the thing about technology is technology that isn't that far away still looks like sorcery,
Right,
almost.
right.
And what does this have to do with optimism? Well, what it has to do with optimism is that the reality of economic growth over the very long term is that it's growth in knowledge.
Right.
That's what it is. I mean, all the stuff that we argue about, land, labor, and capital, and politics, all this stuff, man, that's a small chunk of economic
Right.
growth. What economic growth really is over the long run is growth in knowledge, and how that manifests itself concretely is technological progress.
Right.
3D printing is a completely new, I mean, when this really starts working, this will transform our ideas about ownership. It will transform our ideas about how much stuff anybody really needs. It'll transform what can be done with businesses, it will transform what can be, what you will need infrastructure for or not need infrastructure for. It's fascinating.
Right. Well, what I see from it was, in this episode, is that based on prior innovative technologies, what we see the trend line will be the prices will go down.
Right.
And industries that we can't even dream about will derive from this. And last but not least, it could create a whole new way of living.
Right.
Maybe less storage, less manufacturing plants. And reduce cost of things that we need.
That's right.
Very good. Well, thanks, Lauren. That was very interesting. We'll see you next time on Erickson TV. Bye now.
See you next time.